1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
NL Divisional Phillies at Braves.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the National League Divisional Round of the playoffs. Today we have the number 1 seed Atlanta Braves hosting a Game 1 against the wild card Phillies, the lowest ranked surviving team to this point, the number 5 seed in the National League. We already know that one member of the League Championship Series will be the Pittsburgh Pirates, who eliminated the Giants in their last series. So the Pirates would be the road against the Braves, but they would be the host against the Phillies in the League Championship Series. Let's kind of take a quick peek and see how these teams got there. Overall, well, we can look at the same division, really. Braves got the number 1 seed of the National League. Don't look at the wins, look at the losses. They've only lost 8 times all year. Look at everybody else. See, if you get your series done early, you don't have to keep playing baseball. You could be a minimalist. Look at the loss columns here. Tigers have lost 12 times. Baltimore 13. Braves only lost 8 games. And folks, 3 of those were to the Dodgers. They lost 3 straight to the Dodgers, who finished 13-17 in a bizarre twist. 20-5. Phillies made their mark in the postseason tournament. Let's take a look at that. So not much expected from the Phillies. They were in last place a year ago. But they added Mike Schmidt and Gary Maddox, and they improved mightily. And they've been the best worst to first, or, the best turnaround team in this sport. First of all, they beat Florida Marlins 3-0 in the tournament. That was pretty easy, but they still, 3-0 is 3-0. Don't smudge that one up. Then they made a nice little move here in the against the Pirates in the second round. They beat them in a best of 5. Didn't eliminate the Pirates, but it knocked them down a peg. And it made Philly a very comfortable playoff player. I think it win another game. They're 6-2 now. And then in the elimination portion, where they had to qualify for a playoff spot, they played a best of 3 against the Cardinals and beat them. So they beat the Marlins, they beat the Pirates, they beat the Cardinals. 2 of the 3 teams, and what I've been calling the best division in the sport, the National League Central here, with the Pirates, Cubs, Cards, and Reds. They beat these Cardinals, knocking them out, and of course they beat the Pirates, who have since got on a roll and may have to face them again. So, with that, as it turns out, that with the days off, in the wild card round, they kept going. Let's take a look at the wild card results for this incredible Philly team. Wild card round, they beat Portland 3-0. So you could say, they haven't beat a lot of great teams, but then again, they aren't a great team. So they might actually be an underdog in some of those series, but they won everything. You have yet to lose since the All-Star break. And if you don't lose, you're going to win it all, I should say. So 3-0, 3-2, 2-1, 3-0. Yeah, that's what the Phillies have been doing. Looking like the mid-late 70s Phillies. Let's look at the rotations. With the time off, Steve Carlton come back on normal rest, 3 days rest. It'll be Carlton, Twitchell, Dobson, Lurch, the 1, 2, 3, 4 pitchers for the Phillies, against Niekro, Capra, Stone, and Kelly, who've had a lot of rest, maybe too much rest, we always like to say. That's why the Game 5 will be in Atlanta. Back to Niekro and Carlton for Game 5, a day off in the last 2 games with the 2 and 3 starters. So we'll play a Game 1 today. And then after that, we will play the next elimination game portion as it arises. Leading off for the Phillies, it is Mike Schmidt. 2-6 is a walk. A Steeler, now you got a catcher you can run off of. Hasn't run a lot. He's faced some good catchers like Sanguin and Randy Hundley and guys like that. But now, Johnny Bench. Now he has a 0-arm catcher. And he's going to take off. See what we got here. And he's in there, barely on a 12. There you go. Decide to be aggressive. You have to kind of do that against, you know, when you're the big underdog. Gary Maddox. 4-5 off Necro. Triple, double. That's a 2-base hit. We got a run. Greg Luzinski. 1-8. Double one, single dot. We got another run. These Phillies ready to go out of the gate. Blazing out of the, you know, like it's the Preakness Stakes here. Just rambling out of the gate. Trying to go coast to coast in this one. Darren Johnson. 2-5. Let's take a look at Darren Johnson's card. Boy, ever since we moved him into the cleanup spot, he has been red hot. His last really good year in 71 with 34 home runs. 2-5, homer, 1-9, double. And that's going to be a 2-base hit. Luzinski will hold at third. Don't want to get run out of this inning. Number 5 hitter, Johnny Callison. 3-6. Let's take a look at it, folks. Johnny Callison's having a great year in a platoon. Hit .258 for the 72 Yankees. Had time with the Cubs in here and the Phillies, I believe. But 3-6 is homer 1-8. 1-5, double the rest. It is gone. He rolls a 1. A perfect start against Phil Necro for Steve Carlton. Tony Taylor, 110, short. Tim McCarver, 36, right. And Boa, 66. Pops a second. So, we have set up the challenge. What do championship teams do? Like the Atlanta Braves. They erase 5-0 deficits. That's the mission. Put them up to the test. Let's see if it happens. Then the rest of the sport can just throw their arms up in the world and go, there's no way we can beat the Braves if they can come back from 5-0. So, let's see if they have it today. Ralph Garr against Steve Carlton. 67 is a K. Dusty Baker, 6'12", left. Enrico Cardi, 69, center. After all that frenzy, I forgot to show you the card, so let's do that now. We'll show you Steve Carlton's card of 1972. 27-game winner with a 198 ERA, 346 innings. And for the Braves, their ace, Phil Necro, of course, be the ace most of this decade in 72. 16-game winner, 282 innings, which is kind of low on the innings pitched. Normally he's right around 300. All right, back to the second. It's Denny Doyle leading off. 212, grounds out. Mike Schmidt, 2-9. He Ks. And Gary Maddox, 310, flies to left. 6 in a row. Retired after the bad start. Hank Aaron, 47. Single, 1-9. Gets it. Darrell Evans, 4-4 off of lefty. Triple, 1-3, double. That's a 2-base hit. And Aaron won't run out of this inning. Down 5. Second and third, Davey Johnson, 5'11". This is going to be second X. Second baseman is Doyle, a 2E14. And they'll make the play. But the runners advance and score. So you got a runner at third with 1 out. They're going to play back with a 4-run lead here. Kurt Motton, 67, and gets a strikeout. That's what lefty wanted. And Casanova, 35, flies to center field. So they get a run. Top of the third. Luzinski, 110, base hit. Darren Johnson, it's his column again. 2-8 is single, 1-9, lines out. Johnny Callison, 59, rolls to second. Runner moves up for Tony Taylor. 5'10", catcher's card, just won't score him. He's a 3-16 catcher. And that's a wild pitch, foul out. Bottom of the third, it's Marty Perez, the shortstop, against lefties. 35, pops the second. Back up top to Ralph Garr, 311, hit by the pitch. He has speed, down a bunch. McCarver with a 0 arm. I think we're going to just sit there, maybe get a plus or 2 to come up. Dusty Baker, 43, off of lefty. Keep it away from Bo is what you want to look at. This is left X, and that's the right spot. He's a 4-13. That's Mr. Luzinski. As we like to say, the game will find you. And they found Luzinski to a 2-base error there. Carlton's got to start throwing ground balls to the shortstop if he wants to be successful today. Second and third with one out. They're still playing back for Rico Carty. 49 is a walk. Carlton's making a mess of this thing. And you got your MVP, Hank Aaron, with the bases loaded. Got to show you the card, since the bases are loaded before he swings. Your National League MVP. Didn't win it in 71 because Torrey won it. Actually, Torrey, Stargell, and Aaron, those three guys were all very qualified. There's no reason to pan any of them, or pan Torrey, and say this guy should have got it. They all really should have been a three-way tie, I think. But Aaron at 327 with 47 home runs. One of the three incredible seasons of 1971 with those guys, those All-Stars. And here is the pitch to Hank Aaron. 3-6, right on cue. That thing is hit into the Atlanta skyline. It is gone. A granny by Hank Aaron with one out and the bases loaded in the third inning. And just like I said, what do? You get 5 runs in your first 5 batters, and now the Braves have to prove that they're a championship team. They're a #1 seed. Can we come back from 5-zip? Oh, hell yeah. We only need 2 1/3 innings. That's all. We got a tie game. And the best Philadelphia has is getting knocked around. Steve Carlton. Darrell Evans. 1-8 is a walk. A lot of this damage on the Carlton card if you include the error as well. But the walks on his card, the triple-double on his card. Davey Johnson. 1-8 walks. 2 on for Kurt Motton. 2-8 walks. They're reloaded, looking for another grand slam in the inning out of Paul Casanova. 1-5 is a 6-4-3 double play. Oh well. Lefty does a lefty thing there when he needed to. Finally, gets the double play to get out of the third inning with the bases loaded and 1 out. The Braves have tied the game and actually have sent more runners to the plate and have done more damage because look at Mr. Necro here. Only 1 hit since that start. We go to the 4th. High-scoring game. Somewhat surprising, but when the Braves are involved, high-scoring should not be surprising. Tim McCarver. 3-6, flies to right. Larry Boa, 35, single. Denny Dole's going to try a hit and run here. And the runner has to steal on the 7. And the runner does roll a 4 and is safe. So Boa steals when the batter swung through that one. Doyle will try again with 1 out. 46. Off the Negro card, double 1 of 5. And here come the Phillies back. The young team says, okay, let's put our shoes back on and go out there and get some more runs. And they got one. All right, back up top to Mike Schmidt. 3-5's a walk. 2 on, 1 out. Gary Maddox. 1-5. Let's take a look at Gary Maddox's card of 1973. Was still a giant. 11 home runs and a .319 average. We've talked longingly when we do the Giants broadcast. How can you let Gary Maddox and Gary Matthews leave the Bay Area? But they did. And that ruined the whole decade if you ask me. Homer 1 of 7. That is a double. Schmidt 14 will hold at third with just the 1 out as they increase their lead now to 7 of 5. Second and third, Lozinski, big strikeout guy. They are going to play back for Lozinski. 2-5. That was a mistake because they do get the ground ball to short to score the run. Should have brought it up. But if you're the Braves, you you toy around with 3-run deficit, 5-run deficit, no big deal. All right, so runner at second and 2 outs for Darren Johnson. 59 grounds a second. How about that, folks? Both teams showing fight. This is a knockout. 5-0 shock in the first round. He gets knocked down on the canvas, comes back up, laughs at the referee, and says, I can go. And comes back out in tie the thing up, and then here come the Phillies. All right, Marty Perez leads off in the 4th. 2-8 grounds a short. Back up top to Ralph Garr. 65, center. Guy, can you give lefty a 5-run lead in the game and then you re-up and give him another 3 more run lead in a game? This would be staggering if the Phillies and lefty cannot convert this into a win. Dusty Baker, 1-9, grounds to third. Into the 5th we go. I always go along with Necro. He is their ace, and he throws a knuckleball, so I assume the guy can pitch 7-8 innings most times out. John Callison, 39, single one of 13, gets it. What a year he's having. Tony Taylor, 49, second X. Second baseman is Davey Johnson, a 3E34, and that's a single dot. Not good on defense. Was with Baltimore. Traded his glove in for a bigger bat. Tim McCarver, 1-7. These Phillies are rolling. Double 1 of 6. Single dot dot. It is now 9-5. I can look for a point of weakness for this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Kind of want 15 men on base by 5 innings. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Couple more dudes. In this inning, we'll call him point of weakness. How about that? It's kind of subjective. And I also think about the pitcher, and I know it's Necro here. He's not actually tired. He just stinks. Has no idea where the knuckleball's going. Right in the middle of the plate, apparently. First and third, nobody out. Got to bring it up for Larry Boa. 68 off Necro's a pop out. Up and hold for Denny Doyle. Can't afford any more runs. Another line out to second base. And with 2 outs. This will be a nice little magic act, minimizing the damage. Mike Schmidt. 3-5 is a walk, and here we go. Bases loaded. Heard that a lot today. Bases are loaded for Gary Maddox, who has 2 doubles today. 1-5, the same thing he did in the previous inning. Homer 1-7, double. The rest still can't get over the wall. It's another double. This time Schmidt's going to run, and he's going to score on a 10. A big 3-run double with 2 outs. Gary Maddox. This lineup, ever since they put Schmidt, Maddox, Lazinski, and Darren Johnson, 4 straight righties and the best 4 hitters on the team, 1-4. Bottom half, not so much. This Philly team is on fire. It's 12-5. Lazinski. And as a courtesy, Necro's only sticking in there now to save the bullpen, as this is a long series. You don't want to waste your bullpen this early in a best of 7. Lazinski, 59 grounds to second base. We'll let Necro go 6. And normally, any other starting pitcher who didn't throw a knuckleball would probably be gone by now. 12-5. This could be a day where you pull Carlton early just to give him some rest. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Rico Cardi, 1-7's a base hit. Hank Aaron, 49's a walk. Sometimes I can just blow through a game, get it done in like 9 minutes. Other times it's like pulling teeth, as these teams are relentless. Darrell Evans, 54, center X. This is Maddox, but he's not as good as he would be later in the decade. He's a 3E13 in center field, but he makes the grab. Davey Johnson, 1-4. Let's take a look at the Davey Johnson card. 43 homers and a 270 average. Has the 1-2 template, and his homers all over the place here. 1-4, that's your 3-run bomb, and this is turned into Sunday morning softball here in Atlanta. 12-8, as Steve Carlton, let's check his point of weakness. He's only given up 3 hits. 4. Atlanta Braves, your number 1 seed in the National League, has 8 runs on 4 hits. And that Walker scored, that 2-base error scored, that Walker scored, and that Walker scored. Kurt Martin. Imagine what happens if the Braves start hitting. They only got 4 hits. Yeah, they got 8 runs. They only have 4 hits. Imagine when they start to hit. Kurt Martin, 2-2, grounds to short. And Casanova, 39, grounds to short. Well, the Braves are only down a grand slam. Well, they already have one of those. That's not a big deal. Not much of an accomplishment, really. Necro will go 6. And Carlton, like I said, he's only given up 4 hits, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's hard to pull him either. Darren Johnson, 2-2's hit by the pitch. Oh boy, that knuckleball's all over the place. Johnny Callison, 56, center. Tony Taylor, 56 to a righty, flies a left. And with 2 outs, McCarver. 34 pops the second. Finally, the Phils don't score. Carlton in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Marty Perez. 66 is a K. Ralph Garr, 1-7 is a base hit. It's hit number 5. He is an ace dealer, but you're down 4. Dusty Baker, 3-10 is a K. And with 2 outs, Rico Carty, 68 is a fly ball to right. So now, kind of when you look at it, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 retired by lefty. Let's assume it's a hot day in Atlanta and it's very humid and the ball's leaving the yard, and we might want to pull these guys sooner than later. We'll let Necro pitch the bottom half here. Boa, 57 is a K. Actually, no, that's a single. Point of weakness single. Doyle swing away. 37 single ... Yeah, that's it. Gave him a little bit of grace, but that's a little ridiculous now. He leaves after a horrible game for Necro. 12 runs, and yep, they're all earned. So think about that. Your ace is going to end up with an ERA close to 4.5, 5 for the season because of this destruction today. 4-run deficit, 2 guys on the bases, all these righties coming up. I think they're going to go Hal Haydel, the long man. Save McQueen, Drabowski, and House for the more competitive start. So Hal Haydel will get some work in the 7th inning. 2 guys on base, down 4. At the top, he'll face Mike Schmidt. Hal Haydel was property of the Twins in 71. 4-2 with a 4.28 ERA in 40 innings. The pitch to Mike Schmidt. 59 is a K. Gary Maddox, what a day. 3 doubles. I can't count all those runs and RBIs that quickly. Gary Maddox, 5'10", is catcher's card. This could score a run. There's a guy on third. 3-16, looking for the foul out. Pass ball, though. That's an unearned run there. That will score Boa, who advanced to third on that Doyle single. It is 13-8. And Lazinski. 1-6 for Lazinski. Homer 1, double. It is a double. That will score the other guy. 14-8, the Eagles. Ron Jaworski have a lead here. Darren Johnson. 1-6, a strikeout. 14-8. Well, I'm pulling lefty after 6. Mostly to protect his ERA. The win is strange at this point. I don't think it really matters when you face Atlanta. If they want to score 14 or 15 runs, they will. We're going to switch it to a righty, though, for a while. We're going to go Fred Gladding. So our strategy now is to go to, let's look at Fred Gladding, 72 Astro, 276 ERA. Here we have a righty who knocks down right-handed batters. So maybe Fred Gladding is a key component of the Philly playoff series strategy. He's going to help them win by knocking down all these right-handed batters. The first of which will be Hank Aaron. 54 pops the second. Darrell Evans. 1-9, homer 1-2, fly ball. It's a fly ball. And Davey Johnson. 2-4, Mr. Collin, bounces a short. 14-8, Haydel will continue against Johnny Callison. 2-11, pops a short. Tony Taylor, 2-6, double 1-18 is a double. Tim McCarver, 67 is a walk. Boa, oh boy, 46 is another walk. And then you get the righties all coming up after that. He's a relief 2, he just hit his point of weakness. Phillies are just wasting brave pitchers here. Trying to keep it within a reasonable facsimile of a game. 14-8 with the bases loaded. Mike McQueen's going to come in to face Denny Doyle. Infield's going to come on up. 1-8 with the infield up is a fielder's choice at the plate. And now they're going to pull him. Because you get the righties at the top. Now we're going to go to Mo Drabowski in the 8th inning. they're going to divide up all the relief innings so that no one's used a lot. Drabowski will now come in as a righty. They went righty, lefty, righty to face Mike Schmidt, trying to keep this a 6-run game. The bottom 3 guys are on the bases after the force out at the plate, and the pitch to Mike Schmidt. 33, grounds out. Well, Philadelphia, all you got is a 6-run lead. And we're going to start losing some batters here. Kurt Motton, batting for him will be... it's probably going to be... Yeah, Maury Wills will bat for him. And so he will continue pitching. Maury Wills is the batter. 212 pops out. Kind of don't want to use Gladding too much. He could be a valuable piece to this. Let's get... might want to just jump back into a lefty now. Casanova's the batter. The lefties on the bench, as soon as they're announced, a lefty would come in. Maybe the strategy is for the Braves to leave those guys in there so Gladding has to pitch more. You know what? I'm going to just pull him right now after inning in a third. I'm starting to feel comfortable now with the bottom of this lineup. We're going to go Max Scarse or Max Scarce. 4 outs, retired with a 6-run lead and 5 outs to get. And then we also have Joe Horner as a closer if necessary, along with Jerry Johnson. So Max Scarse will come in so we get to face these awful guys, Casanova and Perez. We want to face them. We don't want them to go to the bench. So it will be Paul Casanova here. 6'11" off Scarce's first X. Darren Johnson's a 2'11". And with 2 outs, Marty Perez, 47, single on a 4, gets it. And with 2 outs, a lefty, Ralph Garr. 39 is a K. All right, so you need to get rid of Perez and put a first baseman in there for Motton. Put what's his name in the outfield. So Tepedino will go in that where Perez was. Hank Aaron goes into right field, who started the game at first base. 14-8 in the 9th. Drabowski will continue and face Maddox. 2-4. Grounds a short. And we're going to actually pull him too. They're just going to do this bullpen by committee thing here to save all these arms. Could be a long series. This way they can get a complete reset if nobody's pitching 2 innings here. So it'll be Tom House coming in to face Lazinski. 65 center. Darren Johnson, 111 right. Philly defense, it's all in there. They got all their defensive players in there. 6 outs to get. It'll be Dusty Baker leading it off. 212 lines a second. We'll take Scarce out as well. Pitch is just an inning. And we'll go to Jerry Johnson. Get the final 2 outs. We'll face Rico Carty. 6'11", pitcher X. Jerry Johnson is an E13. That's going to be an error. It'll be Hank Aaron. 55 is second C. And with 2 outs, Darrell Evans, 34, grounds to third base. This thing's over finally. Yeah, I guess the Braves finally met their match there. I guess, you know, the multiple crooked number innings, just a little bit too much. A 5, a 3, a 4, and a 2 by the Phillies. A little bit too much to come back from, as the Braves only had 2 of those crooked number innings. 14-8 is the final of Game 1. We will resume with the box score of this game, as well as pick up with the elimination game, or the first elimination game of this series. Thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you soon. All right, folks, it's a great series, and this is the box score of the Game 1 slugfest. The Phillies winning 14-8. Necro's final line, 6 innings, 14 hits and runs, 12 earned. That'll kill your season ERA in 1 game, making him look pretty awful for a season for a #1 seed. Not a lot to say. You saw it. It was a debacle. Tons of offense, bludgeoning. So, Do the Braves have an answer in Game 2? They've had the answer all year long, it would seem. So let's take a look at Game number 2. It is Wayne Twitchell, Buzz Capra. Great pitching matchup. Capra, that magnificent 74 card where he dominates right-handed batters. Twitchell's got a nice card as well with his best year, with a 250 ERA. Dominates left-handed batters, but walks guys. In this one, bottom of the first inning, the Braves, they'll take a base on balls if you're, if they're not putting one in the strike zone so they can hit for a homer. Single, single, walk, walk, single, 2-0. Phils come back, a triple by Maddox, RBI single Luzinski. But then they just chip away at Twitchell. A solo shot by Davey Johnson in the 6th. A Mike Schmidt error sets up an RBI single by Dusty Baker to make it 4-1. Buzz Capra does start to run out of gas in this one. It's 4-1, so they bring in their all-star closer, Tom House, in the 9th inning. The Phils made it interesting. Off of the vulnerable Atlanta defense, they would get an error off of Tom House. Oh, by the way, the Atlanta closer that we've been gleaming over, he's an E38 defensive pitcher. So that's something to watch moving forward. He commits an error. Darrell Evans commits an error, and Boa gets a single. After number 9 hitter, pinch hitter Boone flies out, it's the bases are loaded with 2 outs in a 4-1 game. Mike Schmidt at the plate, grand slam gives him a lead. Tom House gets Mike Schmidt to fly out on dice roll 6-5. 1-5 is a grand slam, 6-5 on the house card is a flyout. So give the Braves a character win, 4-1, because it's the Braves. They've been doing this stuff all year, even when they don't have the home runs, just one. 4-1 victory. We're all tied up. Is this going to be a fun series? Yes, it is, folks. It's going to be a good one. Game 3 in Philadelphia. It's going to be George Stone, the only lefty in the rotation, versus Pat Dobson. And it is not a good day at all to be Pat Dobson here. In the 2nd inning, the Braves say, listen, little brother, if you think you're going to beat us, the number 1 seed of the National League, you got another thing coming. You get a Darrell Evans single, Davey Johnson 2-run shot, single, single, single. Ralph Guards a 3-run homer in there. 6-run 2nd inning. But the Phils chip away. They get a 2-run homer by Darren Johnson. But the Braves just keep knocking Pat Dobson around. Dobson is trying to eat up some innings for the bullpen. Manages to survive 7 innings, 13 hits, and 8 runs. And yes, here we go again. The Phillies are coming back. Down 8-3 in this one. Mike Schmidt's solo shot makes it 8-4. So again, Stone has to leave after 6 2/3, 10 hits. It wasn't that great a start. Hal Haydel got knocked around. Mo Drabowski got knocked around. And now Tom House has to come out and put out the damage in the 9th. It's an 8-4 game. A single, double strikeout. Single, walk, single, bases loaded, 2 outs again. In an 8-7 game. And Tom House faces Mike Schmidt. Where have I seen that? Where have I seen that? This time it's a fly out to left field to end the game. So Tom House gets Mike Schmidt out to end the game for 2 Atlanta wins. 8-7 in this one. Great series. As the Braves get a road win and retake home field. Now it's up for the Phillies to avoid going down 3-1 with 3 straight losses in a Game 4. Barry Lersch versus Tom Kelly, the worst Atlanta pitcher, and it shows, as the Phillies know that Tom Kelly is vulnerable to lefties, and they get to him in the middle innings. 3 runs in the 4th, 6-run 5th inning, and in the 6th, they get 11 runs. These Phillies, this is a toe-to-toe slugfest, folks. They are not taking a back seat to Atlanta at all. When it's all said and done, Barry Lersch converts a complete game, giving up 5 runs. Why does he get a complete game, giving up 5 runs? Because they were all solo homers. Didn't throw a lot of pitches. Double-double gets you a run. Solo homer Hank Aaron, solo homer Darrell Evans, solo homer Rico Cardi, another solo homer Rico Cardi. But still, Lersch only walked 2 guys, gets a complete game, 11-5 win. Perfect storm for a playoff series. Home and away wins for both teams through 4 games. So, with the format, we go to Game 5 back in Atlanta. But first, I got to show you something else. So we're going to skip skip back here. Check this out. This is a game 5 of a best of 7 played in the regular season, where the 5th game was in Atlanta, and it was Steve Carlton versus Phil Niekro. I had to look this up. And in this game of a best of 7, the Phillies were up 3-1. Excuse me, the Braves, the number 1 seed Braves, were up 3-1 in this one. Carlton and Niekro went 9. Tom House came on in the 10th of a 4-4 tie. Carlton went back out there in the bottom of the 10th inning, and after 2 outs, it was a walk, single, and a single off of Greg Luzinski's defense. And the Braves won this game, game 5 in the regular season, by a score of 5-4, winning this series 4-1, arguably giving them the number 1 seed in the league. If the Phillies come back and win this series, who knows? Who knows who wins in the National League East? Maybe it is the Phillies who win it. But this would be enough of a margin, as Niekro gets a no decision. House gets the victory. Carlton gets the loss. That was game 5 in the regular season. Different scenario. Different scenario. Let's take a look at game 5 now, as this series is tied 2 games apiece. Steve Carlton and Niekro again. Part 2 of a game 5. Check this out. Top of the 1st inning, Gary Maddox solo shot, 1-0. Guys are throwing goose eggs up there. In the 5th inning, Darrell Evans having a rough time defensively in this series. 323 defense is okay. Gives up an error sandwiched between 2 singles. Mike Schmidt does get an RBI single dot to make it 2-0. Stays that way into the 8th. The Braves start to rally off of Carlton. A double, a walk. Sack bunt by Ralph Garr. Actually, that's the smart call because Dusty Baker gets an RBI single. They bring the infield up. Rico Carty grounds out. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs in a 2-1 game. They intentionally walk Hank Aaron to face the lefty Darrell Evans, and the lefty Carlton gets him out. So it stays 2-1. In the 9th inning, again, it's Tom House being brought in as Niekro falters after 8 1/3, after 2 walks and 2 outs. Larry Boa, the 249 hitting shortstop, the 1E10, has this Bud Harrelson moment here. In the top of the 9th, a 2-run double by Boa turns a 2-1 game into a 4-1 game against arguably the best closer in the sport, Tom House. It is 4-1, and Lefty is going to try and finish this one. In the bottom of the 9th, Kurt Motton gets a double off of Johnny Callison's 3 defense in right field. He's an okay right fielder, but not there. It's a double. Then Marty Perez gets a double off of Carlton's card. And that makes it a 1-run game with a runner at 2nd and 2 outs. Carlton has to get Ralph Garr out to end the game. And the Phillies, the new Whiz Kids. This group of Phillies, early 70s Philly team that was in last place, worst record in baseball a year to go, is trying to go worst to first. They won 4-2. They take a 3-2 series lead. Had Mike Schmidt hit walk-off homers against Tom House, they would have won all 5 games. But they've won 3 out of 5. They're going to fly to Philadelphia for a Game 6. If they win Game 6 at home, they don't have to leave the state of Pennsylvania, because they would play the Pittsburgh Pirates in the League Championship Series. That's all that's on the line. In a Game 6 back in Philadelphia, and we're back to Game 2 starters, Buzz Capra, Wayne Twitchell. As we stated earlier, Buzz Capra dominates right-handed batters. Twitchell has some control problems, but otherwise dominates left-handed batters. Phillies tweaked their lineup a little bit in a fun way for the first time in the whole series. They flipped Gary Maddox and Tim McCarver. They had the same hitting templates with only 20 points in batting average separating them. So they had the same columns, so they put McCarver batting 2nd as a left-handed batter to break up the 4 righties against Capra, since they think that might be the key here. And the Braves don't change anything because they're the Braves. So it's Capra Twitchell in a game we are currently in a Game 6 in Philadelphia. In the second inning, Twitchell can't fail to ground ball. After a couple of fielders' choices and 2 outs, Frank Tepedino, 2 out, 2-run homer, 2 unearned runs, 2-0 Braves. Then in the 5th inning, a single by Rico Carty, and it's Johnny Oates, of all people, hitting a 2-run homer, making this a 4-0 game. Bottom of the 5th, Capra gives up a single and a walk, but Denny Doyle flies out to end that inning. In the 6th, leadoff singles by Mike Schmidt and Tim McCarver, but Capra gets a fly out to Lazinski, a strikeout of Aaron Johnson, and a fielder's choice by Johnny Callison. So we are currently in an Atlanta 4-0 lead, trying to even this thing up and send it back to Atlanta in Game 6. And we go to the top of the 7th inning. Both starters still in there, Buzz Capra and Wayne Twitchell. Twitchell having similar results that he had in the Game 2 lost, but he's a great pitcher. He's going to stick around. Johnny Oates with the big 2-run homer earlier. 47's a K. Maury Wills, 1-8 is single, 1-16, lines out on a 17. Tough break for Maury Wills. And with 2 outs, Ralph Garr. 59, second X. This is Doyle, 2E14 at second base, makes the play. 4-0 Braves. Stretch time here in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. We are listening to the essential mother, father, sister, brother, with all the great hits, Philadelphia Freedom, The Sound of Philadelphia, Backstabbers cover there, My Mood. Great stuff by MFSB. Love is the message. Yeah, good stuff. In Philadelphia. Bottom of the 7th. Need a rally though. Need 4 runs in 3 frames to go to the League Championship Series. Against Buzz Capra, it'll be Tony Taylor leading off. 3-6, let's take a look at Tony Taylor's card. Went to the All-Star game as the utility player for the National League, hitting well over 300. He was a Detroit Tiger in 72 with a 303 average. 3-6, homer, 1 of 4, double the rest. That'll be a 2-base hit. And now you have Gary Maddox, the number 7 hitter. Was batting second until today. Gary Maddox. 56 off Capra is short X. This is Maury Wills, a 3-19 at short. He makes the play, runner goes to third. They'll play back, they'll give up the run with a 4-run lead. Actually, they'll play up, because Bo is an A-bunter. 44 is center X. 44 is center X. Center fielder is Dusty Baker, a 2E5 in center field. 2E5. It's a fly ball B. That will not score a run. And with 2 outs, actually, ground ball is short. Yeah, the A-bunter that brought the infield up. Yeah, I already lost track of what Maddox did. It was a ground ball to short C, I think, right? Oh, yeah, it was short C. So that is a sac fly. I'm sorry about that. I lost track. I saw the short C there, and I didn't realize or remember that Taylor went to third. So that is a sac fly with 2 outs, and it will be Denny Doyle. The base is empty. 34, rounds to first. All right, so a double, a ground ball that advanced the runner to the third base on the E rating, a sac fly, and a ground out. It's 4-1 into the 8th. It'll be Dusty Baker leading off. 62, pitcher. Hank Aaron. 5-10, catcher's card. The catcher is a 4E12. Makes the play with 2 outs. Darrell Evans, 56, is a K. Buzz Capra, bottom of the 8th. Any defense to help him out? No. He has 3 out of 4 righties coming up instead of 4 out of 4. Be Mike Schmidt. 6-10, center X. Again, Dusty Baker, a 2E5 in center field. Makes the catch. He's had some nice plays there. Tim McCarver. 2-9, grounds to first, and with 2 outs, Greg Luzinski, 2-6, single 1 of 16, is a base hit. Darren Johnson, 2-5. Let's take a look at Darren Johnson's card. What a year. He is really dominating in the 4 spot. Homered in game 1. This time, homer 1-9, double the rest. It is gone on a 6. So we got a 1-run game. And we got a left-handed batter in there. John Callison against Buzz Capra. Capra will face him, though. He's an outstanding pitcher. This is his breaking point, however. You want to stay out of the solo homer here if you can. And he'll pitch to Johnny Callison. 57 is a walk. That'll do it. Could not. That was not the move. 7 2/3. Now you got Callison at first base. Good base runner. He's a 13 runner here. 12 runner here. Capra leaves after 7 2/3. And do you go for a 4-out save for Tom House here? Ooh, that'll limit his availability a little bit if there is a Game 7, which the Braves would have. Of course, Game 7 starters are George Stone, a lefty starter anyway, for Atlanta. So I'm going with House. House money. You got to go with Tom House here because it's your season here. You got to win this game. Tom House being brought in for a 4-out save, setting up a possible scenario where Mike Schmidt will face him in the 9th inning, by the way. So here we are, finally looking at the House card. 6-2, 192 ERA in 103 innings in his best season of 1974. One of the two 1970, both these guys, Buzz Capra and Tom House, the best seasons of their careers. And that's why the Atlanta Braves are where they are. They're both of the 1974 cards were drafted into the league this year. And that's made the difference from a wild card Atlanta team to arguably the best team in the National League. So Tom House will face Tony Taylor with a runner at first because Capra broke with 2 outs. And Tony Taylor doubled in the 7th. Here's the pitch to Tony Taylor. 2-8. You saw the card. It's base hit, ... Runners on the corners for Gary Maddox. Tom House, you saw him give up the double to Larry Boa in Game 5. He's got to get some outs here. The Phillies have the tie run at third. Lead run at first with 2 outs in the 8th inning. The pitch to Gary Maddox. 6-11 off the House card. First X, and this is really bad news for the Braves because Frank Tepedino, he's a 4E13. They have no defense at first base on the Brave team. They have Darrell Evans as a 4E19. Hank Aaron is the best defender at first. He's a 3E9, but he's your starting right fielder. 4E13 first baseman. That will score him. Don't even have to look any further. A rangy 2 can't stop the single, and a rangy 4 certainly won't. We have tied this game. The home team Phillies off of Tom House. First and second, 2 outs in a 4-4 game, and it's going to be Larry Boa, one of the heroes in Game 5. Against Tom House, same scenario. Last time he rolled 4-5, got the double off the Tom House card to provide the insurance. Here's the pitch to Boa. 2-8. Boa. It is a single off his card to center field, and you got to run Tony Taylor. Taylor's a 15 runner, 16-17 off the Baker arm of 16. 1-16 to give the Phillies the lead. He runs and scores on a 3. They've done it. They've taken the lead off of Tom House. As the Braves have blown a 4-1 lead in the 8th inning, the number 1 seed in the National League. And the Whiz Kids have the lead on the best team in the regular season. Gary Maddox goes to third on that throw to the plate, and you got speed on the bases still. You got Boa and Maddox. You have to hold the runner. It's 5-4. Denny Doyle, left-handed batter, will swing away because he's a 2 second baseman. He hits lefties okay. The pitch to Denny Doyle. 2-3, pops to shortstop. We'll go to the 9th. It is 5-4. Can these Phillies improve their defense anymore? And not really. You get to put Bob Boone in there for McCarver, but we'll leave it alone for now. We won't change a thing. You got Wayne Twitchell in there. You could go Joe Horner now. And they will. They're going to pull Twitchell after 8 and bring in their closer, Joe Horner, because you're getting to the bottom of this Atlanta lineup, and I said the bottom isn't that great, and they're going to have to pinch hit for 2 of the guys against a lefty. So let's take a look at Joe Horner, a 1971 Philadelphia Philly, 4-5, 197 ERA in 73 innings. He's only being asked to send the Phillies to the league championship series with a 1-run lead in the 9th. Philadelphia has all their defense in there. Joe Horner in the 9th will face Davey Johnson, who has couple of homers in this series. 43 of them in 1973. Pitch to Davey Johnson. 45 off of Horner. Here we go. It's triple. 1-3. Single. ... And that'll be a single for Davey Johnson. They have the tie run on board, but now you have the pinch hit. You got Tepedino does not have a hit on his card. And Atlanta knows, well, maybe they don't know. Do they dare taking their closer out? Should they have brought in Max Garcia to start the inning instead of Horner? Batting for Tepedino. If it's Motton, they're going to yank him. They're going to force you to yank him if you bring in Kurt Motton. At which point you could go to another pinch hitter. They're going to do it. They're going to pinch hit Kurt Motton in this spot, who has nothing on his card against righties, and they're daring Philadelphia to take the closer out. That's what the Braves are doing. Righty, and a lefty. And you know what? They're going to do it. They're going to pull the closer after the one batter in a shocking move. Because they have Fred Gladding. Let's take a look at Fred Gladding. They are taking the dare here. Fred Gladding, let's take a look at him. He actually was an Astro in 1972. 5-6 with a 2.76 ERA. Championship moment. Dominates right-handed batters. There's no lefties on the bench. And Kurt Motton will also be pinch hit for. It'll be Marty Perez. He has more on bases than Motton. So the Braves were stunned that Joe Horner was pulled in a 5-4 game with one batter in the 9th inning. By the way, that's not a third. He went 0. He didn't get anybody out. I'm kind of looking at the Kurt Motton-Marty Perez comparison here just a little closer. No, I'm going to go Marty Perez. He actually has hits on this card. So Marty Perez will be the batter. So Gladding comes in, nobody out, to face Marty Perez. And the thing is, you just lost your closer. And I know Marty Perez isn't much, but then you can bring in, you'll have Rico Carty and Johnny Oates up next. And then you get if you turn this thing over to the top, you're in deep trouble here. So Marty Perez will be the batter with a runner at first. Don't like the bunt to tie on the road in a 5-4 game. So Marty Perez will swing away here against Fred Gladding. 1-6 is a liner to short. Well, he stays out of the double play. Kurt Motton would have struck out. Now you got Rico Carty. If he rolls a 1-6, it's a triple chance. Rico Carty, let's take a look at him. 72 Carty, 277, 6 home runs. Much better against lefties, but still has plenty of power. A 1-5 gives the Braves a lead. The pitch to Rico Carty. 6-12 off of Gladding is a fly ball to left field, and in a technicality, as a DH on a 6-12, you just knock Gladding out of the game. We have even more drama as Johnny Oates comes up. After 2 quick outs by Fred Gladding, they still have one more out to get to go to the League Championship Series. One more out to get to go to the League Championship Series. And it's going to be Max Garcia. Or Scarce, or Scarce, however you pronounce it. Max Scarce. 73, 1-8 with a 2.41 ERA in 71 innings. Here in the ninth, with a runner at first and 2 outs, Davy Johnson hasn't gone anywhere. Johnny Oates is the hitter. If you look at the bench, you do have Casanova. I think you got to do it. You got to go to Casanova, the righty pinch hitter. So let's take a look at Paul Casanova. The final chance for the Atlanta Braves against lefties. He's got home runs. Hits better against righties. This is the last matchup, the best matchup they could get in the ninth inning here, as the Phillies did the righty-lefty, righty-lefty thing to perfection thus far. And it is Paul Casanova, a 206 hitter, the last chance for the number 1 seed Atlanta Braves against the Phillies. Here is the pitch. 47 off Max Scarce is a single chance. It is single, 1-4. Line out the rest. He lines out on a 10 and it's over. Casanova lines out to end the game, and the Phillies have done it. They're jumping all over each other here. The Whiz Kids rallied in the 7th and 8th innings, down 4-0 in Game 6 against Tom House, who has to take the loss in that one. They go to the League Championship Series. They're the first team in this divisional round to win Game 6 at home and advance, as the Detroit Tigers won Game 6 on the road in hostile Comiskey Park to go to the League Championship. The Pirates win Game 6 in Candlestick Park to go to the League Championship. But the Phillies took a 3-2 lead at home in Game 6 and have stunned the Atlanta Braves. Did it with knocking out they knocked both out. They knocked out both of the 74 additions, Buzz Capra and Tom House. They patiently waited for an opening in the 8th inning to get to Buzz Capra's point of weakness. He's a starter 8. And then they went to House and got 3 straight hits off of him. And they managed to go righty Twitchell, a single, then lefty to get out of this porous, the bottom of this Brave lineup is awful. And they managed to keep it from flipping back to the top where you had Maury Wills, Ralph Garr, Dusty Baker, Hank Aaron. So that was the strategy. It worked to perfection for the Phillies. Let's do the box of a shocking 4-2 series win. So Joe Horner in the 9th gave up a single, and then he was shockingly pulled. Fred Gladding got 2 outs, but somehow got the DH 6-12 rule to knock the pitcher out. That's all right. Scarce came in to get Johnny Oates out of there, left-handed batter, and he got the last guy on the bench was Casanova, who had power, but got him out and gets the save. Twitchell went 8 innings, giving up 6 hits and 4 runs. 2 of those were unearned. Walked 2, struck out 5. Tom House, where's the goat horns? Funny part about it is he did get 2 saves. The 2 wins were when he came into the 9th inning to get Mike Schmidt out, but could not get out of the 8th inning here. He faced Tony Taylor. He gave up 3 straight singles and a run charge to him, and he gets a loss. And Buzz Capra can't believe it. You just don't leave a point of weakness pitcher in there to lose a game in the 8th inning when you've got a relief pitcher with a sub-2 ERA available. And that was what happened to Buzz Capra there in that situation. 8 hits, 3 runs, actually 4 runs. One of those is inherited. All 4 were earned. Walked 2, struck out 4. The win is Twitchell's because he went 8 complete innings. 1019, 0108, 51147. 2524, 2524. So we talked about the strategy in the divisional round to let the team with a bye get Game 5 at home. Well, it didn't matter. Both teams, the number 1 seeds, were eliminated. The 1 and 2 seeds, the Braves and Giants, gone. And the teams from Pennsylvania, the number 5 Phillies, And the number 3 Pirates will play for the National League Championship and the right to go to the World Series. It seems typical. We talked about interleague play. National League having a rough time of it, negative 15 games. So it seems appropriate that neither 1 or 2 seeds would play in the League Championship Series. So it would seem that the American League would have an overwhelming advantage with Detroit, Baltimore, and Oakland all still alive in the American League of winning the World Series. But then you have to consider that the Pirates actually won the 71 World Series, even though they're a number 3 seed. So Philadelphia now 29-20. Atlanta was 12 over 500. They're now 10 over 500 as their season ends in disappointment with a 22-12 record. 22-12, and those Phillies 29-20. The third consecutive 4-2. The Phillies move to 9 over 500, and Atlanta finishes 22-12. One thing we do know is that your Pittsburgh Pirates, this has been the perfect storm for the Pirates. Everything you could possibly do for Pittsburgh to get them closer to repeating what happened in Major League Baseball, which is winning the 1971 World Series, has occurred. It started way back here in the 3-game elimination round, where the Pirates needed to rip off 3 straight wins. If they lose once to the Astros in 3 days, they don't even go to the playoffs. They rip off the 3 straight wins. And from there, everything has gone the Pirates' way. In the wild card round, they beat the Cubs 3-1, and then they beat the Giants 4-2. And now in the League Championship Series, my goodness, it is, for the National League, it will be the Pirates 7 over 500 against the Phillies 9 over 500. Let's look at the overall standing just to confirm that. The win-loss records as we look at the overall. Here you go. The Phillies, oddly enough, beat the Pirates head-to-head and are percentage points a game above them, but because the Pirates are a division winner and a 3 seed, they have home field for the best of 7 League Championship Series. So the 29-20 Phillies against the 30-23 Pirates in your League Championship Series. Detroit, well, we know they're hosting the League Championship Series against their American League foe. Number 1 seed, the American League Tigers, are 26-12, 14 over 500. Put them right there. And they will face the winner of Baltimore and Oakland. Wow. Baltimore and Oakland, both 9 games over 500. Baltimore had a bye, 22-13. Oakland had to play in the wild card round. They beat the White Sox. They're 27-18. Yep. 5 wins and 5 losses. Difference. Wow. That's it today, folks. Break up the Philadelphia Phillies, the first bombshell to drop in the playoffs, as we have been touting the Atlanta Braves all year long. I got to look at this one more time. This is the last time we'll see Atlanta's numbers. They were the best team in baseball. They could not get to the League Championship Series or World Series. What was their shortcomings? Maybe, you know, Necro, Capra, George Stone, Tom Kelly is an okay rotation. The bottom of that lineup, like I said, can be manipulated, and it was. The top 6 is probably the best top 6 hitters in the sport. And you know what? Hank Aaron never did get the 20 home runs. He got the 19. He had like 17 at the All-Star break. So he kind of faltered a little bit at the end there. Hank Aaron, 42 for 144. 292 for the MVP. Fell under 300 with a 327 card. And of those big 3 MVP candidates in 1971, Joe Torre just missed out on the playoffs. Hank Aaron gets eliminated. Only Willie Stargell is left from those big 3 MVP candidates in 1971. It could play out closer to, yeah. I mean, you got to figure the Pirates would definitely be a big favorite to go to the World Series. So I'm pretty much on course for the National League 71 representative there, as far as what my league does and what happened in traditional MLB. We'll look at the Phillies numbers as well. 29-20. Hitting .277 with a .328 ERA. Carlton, Twitchell, Dobson, Lersch. That's all good. The bullpen you saw is pretty darn good. Offensively, Darren Johnson, 11 home runs, 49 for 183. 268. He was hitting like 220 until they put him in the cleanup spot. Then he took off. Schmidt, 10 homers, 24 RBI. The leading hitter on this team is a Tony Taylor with 61 hits. 61 for 204. Hitting .299. And Carlton has 10 complete games. 47 runs given up. Carlton's got a .306 ERA. He's 9-4. Twitchell 8-3. And Joe Horner has 7 saves. And even as a closer, you can see that occasionally you can pull closer for the right matchup, and that's what the Phillies did. Frankly, Fred Gladding has been just as effective as Joe Horner. So basically, it's a committee between Gladding and Horner there. Break up the Philadelphia Phillies. They're going to the League Championship Series, beating the big bad Atlanta Braves 4-2. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.